Okay, we're going to try this. This is Wake Up to Real Love with Dawn Richard, otherwise known as The Awakening with Dawn. I am here today to talk about my story. I was married for 27 years and I just got divorced basically a month ago. And it was really ironic because I used to be a licensed professional counselor and my specialty was couples. And I know you say, well, you are the expert, right? So what happened with you? Well, I could help a lot of couples, but for some reason I couldn't figure out how to help myself. Or actually, I helped myself, but I couldn't figure out how to help my spouse. And I think a lot of us get stuck in trying to, I don't want to say fix your partner because they don't need to be fixed, but everybody shows up in the relationship having some stuff from the past that basically blocks them and limits them from really love, honor, and respecting themselves. And, everybody deals with insecurity. Everybody feels less than. Everybody compares yourself. I compare myself to each other. Everybody carries some blame, shame, judgment, criticism about themselves. Everybody feels badly about themselves from time to time for whatever reason. And I feel like these opportunities in our life where we're feeling sort of less than are opportunities for us to see where we're not loving and honoring ourselves. And so part of my relationship journey was about really rediscovering the part of myself or the parts of myself that I weren't love, honor, and respecting. And those were things that had been impacted by the relationship that I had with my spouse. And I realized that, we had a lot of drama and trauma going on between us, ways that we hurt each other. And I got to this point where I really didn't recognize who I'd become because I wasn't really liking who I was becoming. I was not being very nice. I was not being very compassionate. I was not being very patient, understanding, or accepting of my partner. And it caused a lot of issues for us. So I realized that I had to, in a way, take myself out of the context of the relationship and really just focus on myself and what I needed to do to become the person that I knew I was, really. I think that's what all of this is about. We start off this pure, perfect little human being, and all of these things in our life show up and either block us from our truth of being that beautiful, pure, perfect being, or in some way shade our vision of who we really are. And so it causes a lot of difficulties in our lives. It causes a lot of relationship issues. It causes a lot of insecurities. It causes us to lash out at the people that we claim to care about. It causes us to just have a hard time dealing with both ourselves and our relationships and dealing with situations in the world. So that's why I decided to get divorced, actually, because I felt like I was taking care of those things in my life, like creating my own sense of security and self-worth. And I didn't feel like my partner was doing the same and was continuing to lash out at me and blame me for basically things that he wasn't willing to face inside of himself. And so one of the things that I want to do with this podcast is really help people take ownership of their own part in how they relate to other people, how they show up in their relationships. Take ownership and take responsibility for the ways that I'm either helping the partnership, helping the relationship, or I'm hurting the partner and the relationship. And, one of the things that my ex used to say was, well, this is just how I am, deal with it. And it's like, well, okay, I accept how you are, but I'm really not okay with accepting the way that you're treating me, because you're not treating me with the love, honor, and respect that you promised that you would treat me with. And so we just would go round and round about this topic. And I would either say, please speak to me more respectfully. Please don't say these things that are hurtful to me. Please, I wish that you would focus, more on the love and connection that you feel for me, rather than the, blame and criticism and judgment that you feel towards me. And trust me, I blamed and judged and criticized as much as he did. But I came to a point where I did not like that was what our relationship was becoming. I knew that wasn't what we were when we met, and I knew that wasn't living up to our highest potential. And I really feel like relationships are triggers, or ways that trigger you in order to heal those things, so that you can become the highest version of yourself, so that you can grow and transform and evolve into a more beautiful version of yourself, a better version of yourself. I believe that we're here to evolve and transform and grow. And when you find yourself stuck in your emotions that are not propelling you to a greater life, when you're stuck with these emotions, or you're stuck in a partnership that is not really serving you to lift you up, because I believe that true loving partnerships help support and lift you and encourage you to grow to your greatest potential. So when those things aren't happening, and in my case, I just decided that I would rather be on my own than and create the kind of life that I wanted to live, peaceful, joyful, happy, expanded, like looking for possibilities and growth and creativity and imagination and, freedom and adventure, and creating my own sense of safety and security that I was not feeling in my marriage. I just realized that I had to take responsibility for myself, and I had to create the relationship with myself that I felt good about, that I came to a place where I was like, you know what? I know I have my stuff to deal with, and I generally think that I take responsibility for the times that I screw up, for the times that I hurt. For instance, my ex and my kids, I would always say, I'm so sorry, I overreacted, or I didn't act in a way that I'm proud of. And so, please, I want your forgiveness, and I want your understanding and compassion and acceptance and encouragement to do better next time, to show up in a better way next time. And so I decided I needed to do that by myself, for myself, and for my kids. And so a couple years ago, I told my spouse that I wanted to get divorced, and he said, oh, I'll go to therapy now and become the husband that you deserve. And I said, no, I've been asking you to do this for 10 years, and you've chosen not to. And now I've come to a point where you feel free to go to therapy because, you need to work on the stuff that you need to work on, but do it for yourself and do it for our children, so that they're not left with the legacy of taking on your stuff like I feel like you took on your family of origin stuff. So we all need to clear our own stuff. We all need to be responsible for our own selves, and we all need to create the kind of life that we want for ourselves. I wanted to create a life full of love, joy, peace, laughter, ease, and living in my house with my ex was not easy. And I'm not saying that I was easy either, because I wasn't always easy, but I wanted to create a home where this was my safe place. This was the place where, when everything else was a mess, that I could come home and feel like a deep breath. Like, no matter what, when I come into this home, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be loved and supported, and accepted for exactly who I am. And I didn't have that with my ex. And so I decided that I wanted to have that for myself and for my children. So that's really the big part of why I have gotten to this place where I am. And I hope that by sharing my truth and my story, that I will help other people think about where they are and how they're showing up, both for themselves and in their relationships. Because I think that the better relationship you have with yourself, the better relationships you're going to create with other people. And it's through our connections that we experience the fullness of ourselves and the fullness of each other. And we're all just reflecting back pieces of each other, whether it's something that we admire in somebody else, or if it's something that we're denying, excuse me, that we're denying and criticizing and judging about ourselves. So this is why I want to start this podcast. This is what I want to talk about: how you're showing up in relationships, how you're dealing with the relationship with yourself, how you're navigating all of the multi-layers of things that you deal with in relationship, whether it's communication, whether it's intimacy, whether it's sex, whether it's feelings of insecurity and fear, whether it's feeling anxiety or depression, or sharing in your joy and passion and sense of freedom and adventure. I mean, all of those things are different aspects of ourselves. And in my opinion, I'm just talking about my opinion and my experience and my truth. But in my truth and in my opinion, I believe that, the more aware you are of your own self and the inner workings of yourself, and the more that you love and accept yourself right here and right now, the more easily that you can show up and do the same for the people close to you, do the same for people out in the world, do the same for people in your businesses, that you show up as your best self and that you can help people become their best selves as well, so that we all can coexist and co-create a beautiful, amazing experience of life, because there is so much to explore. There's so many possibilities of what we can have and experience in our life. And so I want to help people experience the most love, and I don't mean like, fluffy hearts and chocolate Hallmark kind of love. I mean like this really deep reverence. That's really the best word. A real reverence and respect for an unconditional positive regard for people, because we're all the same. We all bleed the same. We all experience the same emotions. We all want to feel loved and accepted and valued. We all want to feel connected. We want to feel important to somebody else, to feel like we matter and that our life matters, that our thoughts and opinions and feelings matter. So I am here to help people wake up to real love, waking up to the love within themselves, waking up to the love in their intimate relationships, waking up to just seeing people through the eyes of that deep reverence of, everybody is a perfect, beautiful soul. And it's just all the stuff that's gotten in the way of us recognizing our truth. So this is a big part of my story. Really healing the relationship with myself so that I could heal the relationships, not with my marriage, because I couldn't do that. I mean, it has to be a mutual thing, but that I was able to heal the relationships with myself, the relationships with my kids, and really restore this sense of safety and security, love, compassion, understanding, and This is what I want to share with the world. This is, you know, I mean, people have said to me, oh, you're looking through your rose-colored glasses, and, you know, you're too optimistic, and, you know, don't you realize the reality that people are mean, or, you know, horrible things happen in the world? I'm not trying to negate those things, but I'm trying to figure out a way how to lift all of us up so that we all come to this place of love and acceptance and treating one another with a deep reverence and love, honor, and respect for whoever you are, however you show up, and, you know, trying to evolve and grow and become the greatest version of myself, become the highest version of myself, so that I can look back and think, I don't have any regrets, because in every moment I tried to be a nicer person. I tried to be more loving and kind and compassionate. I tried to share my gifts with the world. I tried to help serve in a greater way that is something beyond just me. It's not about me. It's, you know, we're in this web of life where we are all interconnected. And what, you know, if we're all in this web, whatever movement that you make in your part of the web affects all the other parts of the web. So what you do affects the whole. And I have said to a few people the last week or month or so, you know, when I come as one whole and somebody else comes as one whole, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = infinity. Like, your world and your vision and your experience of life just becomes so much bigger and brighter and more full of magic and wonder when you share this essence of potential and possibility. So this is what I want for everyone: to wake up to love, wake up to real love, both in yourself and with each other. So it's going to be a journey. It's always a journey. It never ends. It's not a one wave your magic wand, one and it's done. It's a constant evolution, journey, process. You know, there's no destination. The destination for me is just more and more love, experiencing both within myself and with the people that I come in contact with. So this is my vision, and thanks for joining me. And just start thinking about where in your life can you wake up to real love. All right. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.